Hi, loved ones. This morning has been an interesting morning. And obviously, I'm here with like no makeup and no hair, and this feels absolutely right for what's going on right now. This past few days have just been really sensitive. I mean, I feel like I've been sensitive, but I've also seen this reflected in the collective. And so I just feel like I need to share what's on my heart, and I feel that some people need to hear what's on my heart. So I love you guys, first off. I love all of you, and I know some of you need to hear that. I like to hear that because just sometimes we need to hear that we are loved. And there's just so much heavy stuff going on. I think for me personally, I started realizing the intensity of it with the whole Cecil the lion situation, and seeing how people were so triggered by this situation. And it's so, awesome to see people unite to defend the life of this beautiful, beautiful animal. And at the same time, it's conflicting to my spirit, because I see that, like, yes, we're trying to right the person that did something that is like wrong, but also we have to really be clear with our egos about, like, is it tickling us to just unite in opposition, to fight against something? Is it really about, like, the sentient beings, to eliminate the suffering? Because are we contributing more suffering by uniting to be against something? And then this morning, I just got feedback from my mother that my childhood pet, it's heavy. Ooh. Processing. That we had to put my childhood dog to sleep. And I'm all about being strong and recognizing, like, the cycles of life. And he lived 15 years, and he was, like, super happy, so it's not like there was any suffering involved with that. He was like blind and deaf and stuff, and his health was declining, so this was, this peace that he has now is perfect, and everything is so divinely perfect in the way we experience it. But I think it's just this intense awareness of, like, suffering and what is, like, killing and what is, like, forced, early death and cycle of life versus what is, like, the natural progression of the cycle of life. And also just witnessing, like, how we can feel so intensely attached to a figure or an icon like Cecil the lion, or how I feel about my childhood dog. And these beings are important because we've created a relationship with them. And in all honesty, this is how I feel, at least what I've been awakened to over the past couple of years, with how I feel about all animals. Cows and chickens, and especially pigs. I pretty much felt like that about pigs my whole life, but to recognize how precious that life is within all of these beings. And I'm feeling so intensely, empathically connected with all these beautiful feeling things, these beings. And it's nice to see people awakening to how precious an animal life is represented in this lion, but, like, to say that another being isn't just as deserving as having someone fight for them, or to love them, or realize how precious they are, is like saying that one group of people is more deserving than another. And in my heart of equality, you know, in my colorblind, you know, unsegregated heart of just ultimate love, it's like, how do we value one thing over another? And I can't. They're all so precious. And I'm grateful that I'm having these sensations and these feelings in regards to these topics, that I can feel these things and to know that these situations exist for me to learn and to love, to know love more deeply, to dive into that space, which is uncomfortable. And, whew. Like, some of this I feel right now is like, yes, I'm feeling for Samantha. And then some of it, it's like, I know that people are having these sensitivities and these challenges right now. And a lot of it is like, in those times we have this opportunity where it's like, do we close our hearts and harden our hearts because it's so hard to understand brothers and sisters and why there's so much conflict on the planet? Or is this where we go, I'm going to open my heart in this really tender space to know love more deeply right now, even if it hurts, because love is the tool we have to heal this, like, all this suffering. From people being, you know, hurt, to animals being hurt, to us hurting ourselves by situations we put ourselves in when we know better. And I think ultimately it comes back to, like, we do the best we can at our current state of consciousness. And when we know better, we do better. And, well, at least I try to do better. And I send that blessing to all of my soul family. And I guess the reason why I'm sharing my heart right now, I'm being so, like, exposed and vulnerable, and it's great to look pretty and to share it from a really grounded place, but also to recognize, like, this is that dark side of the moon that is also so beneficial to us, and to be here, no makeup, bared, vulnerable, and to say that this is how it feels when these things happen, and that it's okay. I'm going to survive. I'm going to live through this, and it's so precious that we are even here to experience, to see cycles of other things go through its own birth and death. And I'm sitting here and I've been thinking a lot about the cycle of caterpillars and butterflies, which is a really beautiful symbol of transformation and birth and death and rebirth. And it's interesting because my mom just sent me a text and she's like, when they put my dog Rascal to sleep, she said she kept seeing this, like, butterfly, because they did this in the backyard, and she's like, it just gave me a big sense of peace. And, like, what I realized is, because yesterday in meditation is, like, what seems like death to a caterpillar in that cocoon darkness is the beginning and the beautiful birth of our butterfly stage. And if we can make it through that dark time, even if it's a personal dark time or a collective dark time, we are rewarded with this beautiful transformation and experience of something so much lighter. And I'm just so grateful to experience it and to know it's all in this path of deepening and love and awareness and interconnectedness and dissolving the separateness. If we allow it, it can further separate us if we want to harden our hearts here. But to me, it's just another level in dissolving and recognizing this light in other things, whether it's in a lion, whether it's in a childhood dog, whether it's in something that's deemed as livestock to someone else, but is a precious spirit to another. And this isn't me being vegan evangelical. It's just me sharing. And this is where I am at my level of awareness. And I just want to extend that love to you and tell you that if you're going through a cocoon stage, have faith. There is light. And to hold reverence for the fact that, well, I think this has also been having me reflect on death in general, and, like, my father passed, how I realized how beautiful it is that we come here with the consciousness that we're going to live a life and make relations with people and share and grow and love and expand in love, only to have also an experience of earthly demise, whether we experience it in another form of something, we attach to, and then it fades from our life. And at one point, we will all be that for somebody else, for them to experience. And like grieving is a really tender, magical space, because we feel so much heaviness and we have resistance to let things go, and we want to hold on to what is transforming without our control. And to surrender to that space is alchemy, because we just realize how magical it is, and nothing real ever really dies. It just changes. So I guess in this space, if I had to say anything, it's where can I, when suffering is here, how can I transmute it to where there is less suffering within me, and therefore ripple less suffering without surrounding me? And where in the suffering is it a gift where I can dive deeper into knowing what is precious, what is tender, what is deserving of compassion, not only other things, but myself. And yeah, I love you, and it gets better. And all of these things are gifts if we let it. So look for the blessing in what we see as a burden. And have a beautiful, beautiful day and life. Bye. Love you.